but I was very eager to be on this earth. So I came out way before my due date. I had no desire to go to the UK because my passport is green and I am not quite strong.
So Nicole, I hear the gist that you won a 45k grand award. How did that happen?
Hey you! Welcome to the Mind the Gap podcast. This show is created by immigrants for immigrants, and it's all about the career journeys that shape our lives, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Each episode, we bring you inspiring stories from immigrants of all backgrounds, different ethnicities, ages, and career paths to share insights, resources, and advice that will help you navigate your professional career. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Verisult, CMFI-NL, and DBI.
Hey you, welcome to the Mind the Gap podcast by Verisult. And you're here this afternoon, morning, evening, midnight. Instead of listening to any of that, instead of doing any of that thing that you're doing in your life right now. And so for that, thank you. And we're going to make this worth your while. I'm Dami, I'm going to be your host today. And today I have with me Nicole Obiodiaka. And I'm excited to have you. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole.
Thank you for having me. So my name is Nicole. I work as a business development specialist at NASDAQ Verifin, and I'm also the founder of Centra. So we are a company that's dedicated to supporting Black entrepreneurs as well as Black artists.
Very good. So the first question we usually want to ask you is, what is your immigrant story?
So my immigrant story starts in secondary school. So I went to Green Springs in Lagos, and my school is very tailored to go to the UK. And that's important to know because I had no desire to go to the UK because my passport is green and I am not quite strong. The pathway to citizenship in the UK seemed very complicated.
Wait, at 18, you were thinking that far?
Oh, yes.
My God, I think to be thinking of that already at 18, that's really good. And I'm just excited to hear more about your journey, so go on.
Yes, so me thinking about that was, I guess it goes back to me even being born. And I know that sounds wild, but the reason is, my mom or my family, we tried to give birth to all of us outside of Nigeria so that we could have that passport and that safety. Passport. Yes, I was very eager to be on this earth, so I came out way before my due date.
I completely relate to how horrific your mom would be.
Yeah,
we had all this planned for you.
Yeah,
you can't just wait.
Yeah,
I'm
really happy to be here.
When you give the backstory, now I get it. So yes,
I don't have this privilege of having a different passport. And I do with my life, and where can I go for me to be able to get that? So Canada at the time, it wasn't very popular.
Yeah, the Japa story wasn't, the Japa thing wasn't really
there. And I don't know, the US just never really appealed to me. It also just seemed more complicated too. So Canada at the time seemed like an easier pathway, at least like going from a student. Went to the school, I did my three courses, and I was applying for universities in Canada, and I was getting rejected, and I was very confused as to why that was because my grades were fine. Like I had 2 A's, 1 B, so I was fine.
You should be getting.
Yeah, I should be getting in. And then, anyways, I think I had just inquired, or one of them actually gave me like a written explanation as to why, not just an automated rejection letter. And they said that I didn't meet the minimum course requirement. So, am I going to do like the UK is not an option?
This is the option that you want.
Exactly. I didn't want to spend another year just going back for just one course. So I started to research heavily online, like places going to take me with the 3 courses that I have. So that's when I came across MON.
In this St. John's, Newfoundland. I can imagine what Newfoundland would have been like.
No, I was searching on YouTube, just like to see the university. The media that's out there is not the media that was there in 2019. I didn't see a single person of color. Where on earth is it that I'm going to? Like none of my friends knew. It was very scary.
I came into Newfoundland about 2 years ago, and even then, it felt like this place.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about Newfoundland.
No.
I can imagine what it was in 2019.
Yeah. I was excited for what the future would hold paper-wise, but really the goal was, okay, let me go to this school, and then transfer out after, because I couldn't go to any other school with the courses that I had. I think at the time when all of this was happening, I hadn't even turned 18 yet. I was 17.
Wow.
So I needed to have like a legal guardian. It was a whole complicated process.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because your parents are the comrades.
Yeah. My dad's preference was for us to, well, at least for me, to not school in Nigeria, and that I'm thankful for. So he wanted me to school outside of Nigeria for my undergrad. Maybe not as soon as 17, but I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to sit around.
Okay.
I came to Mon. I was very, very scared. Cried on the plane.
You cried?
I cried on the plane because like I had even the I'm a mommy's baby. So my mom was like, okay, you're going to go to Canada. You need to learn how to not be a baby and like live by yourself. So I never traveled by myself. I had a baby brother at the time, so it was like leaving my little baby, leaving my sister, you know, my whole life behind to go. It was very, very scary.
So did you find anyone somehow to connect with before you came into St. John's?
No.
Oh.
I think the most I had was the internationalizations office.
Okay.
That was about it.
Wow.
Yes. So yeah, I cried and I prayed to God. Like I remember that I was like, I don't know where you placed me,
but
I don't know where I'm here.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just prayed and I was like, there's a reason that you brought me here. Why that is, I truly don't know. Let your will be done.
That's so good.
The major barrier for me when I came as well was I came in summer, which was a very off time to be coming to university. Most people start in the fall. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't any of like welcome weeks or like all this buzz around university. Oh. And then we have people, they're called resident assistants. So I asked them, I was like, hey, I'm new here. I just came. How can I make friends? And she was like, go to church.
That's a classic answer.
Well, it's even more interesting because at least from what I understand of her, she isn't a believer. She also wasn't a person of color as well. So for that to be like the advice that I was given was very interesting.
Because that's what she thinks the answer is.
Yes, and maybe that's also where she had seen most people of color or community together. But she was right. I went to church. Like I made a lot of friends that I still have in my life to this day. I was in school, made some friends along the way through my courses, and then I went into the regular place where I was supposed to be, so the normal student residence. Okay. And while I was there, they had a lot of welcome week events, but I found myself feeling very bored. I wasn't having fun.
Why?
Well, I realized why after. I didn't understand why personally, because like usually really easy to have fun, like it just wasn't clicking for me. I felt very out of place. And then I went to the dining hall at school, and then there were like a bunch of new people who also came from Nigeria as well. And then they were all just collectively talking about how much they didn't enjoy the welcome week. Oh. So that was a first, I guess, spark in my brain, or like a switch in my head, because I was like, okay, well, we all there's a commonality here, which is the fact that
we all are not enjoying this.
Exactly. And we're also all not we're people of color, we're black, we're also immigrants as well. So for me it was like, okay, this was something very painful, not painful, but like it still wasn't ideal. Like I didn't feel like they had me in mind when they were doing these events. Yes, not that it was intentional, but it felt like
I would say that. Okay.
Yes. So I thought about, actually I did try to find the BSA. So they had a lot of students. So the BSA is the Black Students Association.
This is where, okay, so because I know your story now, you eventually like reenacted the BSA as a student, and you were an honor student, guys. You was an honor student, and you started this, you reenacted this BSA, and that's the gist of the story. But then this backstory is needed because I, for example, I like to know the details of story because it just kind of helps you know how someone gets somewhere. Like it's easy to see you on LinkedIn, see your story as a student who reenacted BSA. You started noticing this not being welcome and all that, and so you decided to do something about it. Yeah, you were literally minding the gap.
All right, say that, I was searching for the Black Students Association because they had like a list of resource groups, and I had sent an email to the Black Students Association and another one, I don't remember which one, and I didn't receive a response. So I went to Monto and I asked, like, I'm looking for the Black Students Association, so I can hopefully like meet more people of similar backgrounds and just feel a sense of home away from home. Yeah. That's when they let me know that it wasn't active at this point in time.
Oh. Hey.
I had inquired about how to reactivate the Black Students Association. But before that, I was like, that might take some time because it's a whole bylaw, whatever. So I thought about, okay, what can I possibly do in the meantime? Help create or foster greater sense of community. Mm-hmm. So through Monsu, Monsu is yes.
I'm a student. I don't know what Monsu is.
So Monsu is the Memorial University of Newfoundland Students Union. So they represent the student body, they advocate for you, they organize a lot of, they organize that welcome week that I'm referring to. Mm-hmm. So I went to them, discuss how we could possibly work together to create events that actually cater to Black students as well. So we hosted, it was actually, and I will never forget.
I should say that. It's like a new country, new people. It was really bold of you to do that. And honestly, well done. And thank you. Because like someone had to start it. Someone had to do something. And then you said that person had to be you. So I just wanted to like take a moment to give you your flowers.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was very hard for me, and I didn't want anyone else to go through what, like, just the it shouldn't have to have been that hard. Other people had it easier coming into university. So why are immigrants or Black people having to go through a more difficult, or why do we have to make it for ourselves? Like, why can't it already be given to us the same way it's given to us by our counterparts? And I guess that's also just how I've been. Like, even when I was in Nigeria, I did a lot of things for charity, thinking about how we could raise funds and things like that. So it's always been in my nature, I guess. I'm part of who I am. I'm an empath. Yes. We organized an event, and it was something little, but I didn't realize the impact that it had. So it was at the Loft. So the Loft is like an open space in the university center. So it was musical chairs. I don't know if you're familiar with musical chairs, but there was something so simple, but it was musical chairs, and that was, I guess, the song, or I guess the artist. Like, I put some posters around the university, had the music playing, and people didn't necessarily know that the event was happening, but because they heard the music as they were walking past. Like,
what kind of music were you playing?
It was Afrobeats and hip hop. It drew people in, and it was just so fun. It was like getting a break from school,
I'm finally seeing like and dance,
exactly,
and all that, our music,
exactly.
Because I felt like ice cream.
I was so happy, so happy. It was so much fun. I'll never forget that day, because after the event, I was like, this was nice, this was so fun. I was really happy. And then I was heading to the gym, and a girl came up to me, and she was like, were you the person who organized the musical chairs and like music nights or whatever? And I was like, yes. And she was like, that means so much to me. Like, I haven't had anything happen here so far that like I felt seen, and it was really nice to even just hear music and be around so many other
people like me.
She felt seen, and I was it just warmed my heart, because like, that's all I wanted. I wanted to be able to have that.
Oh, so many lessons here. Sometimes it's easy to see a problem and then complain about it.
Yeah.
You felt like, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to find a way to solve this thing and make someone else who is feeling this way feel better. Yeah. And so for your journey has a social impact, how did it translate into other things for you? Because I know this was the beginning of your journey as this person that you are now. So how did it translate for you? So
from that, I think I had said earlier, so I was looking to restart the Black Students Association. So that was like the first step, just to gauge, see if there was interest, if there were even enough Black people to do this for association for. Okay. With the help of Monsu, as well as some people that came together. So we rewrote the bylaws, and we restarted the Black Students Association. Yes. So while I was in school, obviously I needed money, because my dad was converting what he was sending me in Naira, and he was like, Nicole, this money feeds a whole family. Why do you need this for 1 month? And I was like, well, you said like that. And mind you, it was just $200, but because like when you're doing that conversion, So I was like, well, on this, I was really skinny. So I was like, on this amount of money, I'm not gonna. I was like, it's like I'm gonna get my bus pass, or I'm gonna get food, or I'm gonna pay for my phone plan. I can't do all three. Yes. So
you were not eating.
No, girl.
Oh my god.
Obviously, I was eating but then I'm being extra. I had to like be very mindful and like watch exactly. So I was like, I need to get a job because this is not sustainable. So I think I had an interview. It was actually through one of my friends that I met. So he had a friend who worked at Sephora. So he gave me the referral. So I interviewed and I got the job at Sephora by the grace of God. And why I say that is because I had no idea how to do makeup.
I got a job at Sephora.
Nothing else but God. At the time, students could work 20 hours off campus.
Okay.
But even that 20 hours was not enough to sustain me. So and then I found out through like discussions I had with Monsu. So they do, I'm not sure if this is through Monsu or not, but there's something called MUSEPS. So MUSEPS allows you to work on campus for up to 80 hours. In a whole semester, but still, like, it was a way to like supplement my.
And then you get paid.
Yeah, you get paid.
And it's extra hours aside the 20 hours that you can work.
Yes, that you're allowed to work. Yeah, so I was okay. That would be like a nice extra source of income. So I actually got my first MUSEP job with them. I was their campaigns. I was the campaigns assistant or the marketing assistant, something like that. Good. Yeah, so it was really helpful, really nice. And I think I now went to do like a marketing assistant with the Gardiner Center on campus. So I always recommend MUSEPs as like a first start
to kind of get your hands full of what you can do.
Yes. Okay. But also more so corporate, right? Because it was working at Sephora was more. It was like a sales job, a sales associate job. But those MUSEPs can be used as a corporate job or like work experience exactly in the corporate field. So it's important to have.
Does this still exist?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So students can get extra work hours and experiences from that.
Yes. Okay. I would say most of the experience, like the money is just guys? Like, the money is little, but the experience is good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, you see, jot this down, write it down.
So I think those are the two things really helped me when it came to applying for internships. So I went through the Bachelor of Business Administration because I wanted to finish school as quickly as I could. The exchange rate was going up. I have two siblings at home. I had to get this done.
I feel that.
Yes. And I think I had spoken to some people, some people who like love campus, and they told me about the importance of having work experience before you graduate.
Okay, so I should just really like this. You ask a lot of questions.
Oh yes.
And that's so good. I feel like that's what, if you're here today and you're someone who's just quiet, trying to figure life out on your own, please don't do that. No. From Nicole's story, what I could really see is that asking questions was never a problem to you, because then that's how these opportunities exist.
Yeah.
Please ask questions.
Yeah. And I know it can be hard, but it's like, what's the worst that will happen? They'll say no.
Yeah. Do you get it? Nicole, let's just take a moment and then give you more flowers.
Yeah, so, and why I shared that part about the MUSEPs and the volunteering, because I feel like that's what helped me to stand out when I applied for it was a summer internship with BDC. I think I applied for this, I want to say in maybe 2021, I want to say is when I applied.
BDC is Bank of...
So the Business Development Bank of Canada.
Okay, yes.
Yes. Good. So they had a summer internship position and I applied for it, and at the time, the experience I had on my resume was, I believe, those two MUSEPs jobs I had on campus. And I think I had my job as a sales associate at Sephora. Mm-hmm. And I also had work experience at a jewelry store as still a sales associate. So that's what was on my resume. And during the interview, and also, the volunteer things that I did, with the BSA and leading that association. And that was something that stood out to them. It wasn't like, yes, I did have good grades, but it wasn't just the grade. It was like, I had this on-campus practical work experience.
You were doing. Exactly. So I like that a bit. It's not about the grades alone. No. I can relate with that a lot because back in school, I just focused on education. I just wanted to pass and have the first class. So the typical Nigerians are just focus on your studies. Yes. Just what I like to write now to anyone listening is that being in school is not about getting a good career grade. You don't have to figure out, think about your future ahead. When you are done, it's not the time to think about the future. Mm-mm. You think about the future when you started. Plot a graph that works because you need the work experience and you have to get it somehow. There's the one that you do to make money for survival, and there's the one that you do to actually put you on the path to where you want to be. So,
yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
And I would also say it's not easy because it was a battle with my dad, because he also said the same thing, go to school, get good grades. But I was like, I don't think that's how it works here. I'm pretty sure I need to get work experience so I can get a job outside of school. So
that's good.
It was a bit of a tussle.
Give you some good.
I'm just saying that because it's not as easy as it sounds, I've had other people who I've advised the same thing, work, and they're like, my dad does, or my parents don't want me to work because they don't want my grades to be compromise. But it's important to explain that to them because you're the one who's here and you're the one who knows the reality of
living. You should ask that question right now. So how did you balance work, having all these internship experiences, you're working at Sephora, and then you also had how did you balance?
So Notion was my best friend. So Notion, they're not sponsoring me, they don't even know I exist. But
so you had a project management too.
Is that what it is? I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Organize. Yes. Productivity tool. It just help you keep it organized. That's good.
Yeah. And I was taking 5 courses as well. So for school, once I had my syllabus, I put in the calendar the deadlines. I had to every midterm, every test, everything was in that calendar.
Girl.
Yeah.
Who are you? You're using Notion to manage your life.
I didn't know what else I could do.
Oh my god.
So I'm gonna stay in my head. Like,
But
I'm going
do
to
you know
forget.
this is not normal? Like, do you know?
I guess maybe now I do, but at the time I didn't know.
Okay, because
No.
like it's not normal to be a student and be managing your life in a shop. Like I do get it. Just so you know, it's not very normal.
I guess, yeah, I think also when I got that job, so thankfully the internship I spoke about kept me on part-time. So I now had to balance a part-time job as well as 5 courses and then the things that I was doing with the BSA. So I was like, I'm really struggling to balance all these calendars and my personal life all at once, and I don't want my grades to be compromised. So I did some research, and that's how I came across the app. So that's something that I say that helps people to like write down your
Everything that you have to do.
Yes, I guess I sort of worked backwards, so I knew my end goal, and then
Worked back
let
into
me break
that.
down what to do
That's
each
so
day.
good. That's
Yeah.
so good.
That's how I was able to manage it.
Alright, this is been such full, like just listening to you has been so beautiful. So Nicole, I heard the gist that you won a 45k grand award. How did that happen? And how did you feel when it happened? I really want to hear that.
It was very surreal. I was very shocked and I cried. The award, I actually only found out about it in my very last semester of school. So it was in the fall of 2022. And I saw the email come out from Mon Business about the different awards, but like I saw within the Frank H. Shobi Award. It was given to the top 8 business students across Atlantic Canada for academic excellence as well as philanthropic activities.
Okay,
so
check your emails, guys. Check your emails.
Yes. I had to even submit your application, you needed to get 3 references. So you needed one from a professor or someone within the academics, one to speak to your philanthropic activities, and then another from like your employer. So I got in my references, I applied, and you needed to be selected by your dean. They could only select 3 people. So I was selected, and then I got a phone call in like winter that I got the award.
How do you feel?
I felt very happy, and I also felt like everything made sense now, in the sense that I think even my story about me coming here, I didn't necessarily plan to come here. I also didn't know about the award until like my very last semester. Like I didn't open that email. Like I would have never known that something like that
Check your
existed.
emails.
Yes, it was just like a full circle moment. Like
That's the word, the full circle moment. How did your parents feel?
Very happy, very
so
proud.
good. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. So you have the job. You finish out of school, you get this job at NASDAQ Verisult.
Yes.
So I just want you to like tell me how your background, your story ties into getting this job.
If you are going to MON, I leveraged the Career Development Center because I told them I am an international student. For me to stay here, I do need to have a job after graduating. And what they advised me to do was to get work experience. So I got the internship with BDC. I was grateful enough and thankful they offered me a part-time opportunity. I had a part-time job with them that they gave me on a contractual basis. And then I continued to work for them part-time, and then during that work they then offered me a permanent position. So I essentially had a job waiting for me before school, so I already had a permanent offer. So I guess how I would translate that as well into advice is if you do have the opportunity to get an internship, let that be your priority. Do your best to go above and beyond. Don't only focus on. I didn't focus just on my job scope and like what they gave me to do during my internship. I thought about how can I make an impact? How can I solve
make a difference?
A problem that they are trying to solve.
It was only why they would give you an extension. Because they wanted to have you around.
Yeah.
So you were making an impact where you were.
Yes. So think about how to make an impact and try. Obviously, do the job that you are assigned to well and try and go above and beyond. So that's what I believe that I did that helped me to have that part-time offer. So I worked with BDC 1 year after I graduated school, and for me it was a lovely job. I enjoyed connecting with the community, but I was looking for ways that I could grow and expand my skill set or look for a new challenge, because even though I was part-time, I had technically done that job for 3 years. So I was very intrigued by tech. It seems like a very fast-paced industry, and I thrive. I thrive in like fast-paced environments, things that are like challenging me, testing me. Because if you're not uncomfortable, you're not going to grow. So I was looking for something that made me uncomfortable as well, so that I could grow.
If you're not uncomfortable, you're not going to grow. If you're too comfortable right now, there's something wrong.
Yeah, go and look for trouble. Okay. So I applied for the job at Verifin. So it was a business development specialist, and that was a completely different world entirely because it's tech sales, it's software. I didn't know what I was going into. So thankfully, the experience that I had from BBC in terms of knowing how to manage client relationships, being able to speak with different people at different levels of businesses. So those things did prepare me for that role as well. As also my extracurricular. So the things I had done with my business, Central, my volunteering. So all those things helped my skill set be stronger when applying for the job. So so that's how I landed there where I am today. And it's a challenge every day, but it's good because I'm growing. Like, I'm not comfortable, and that's good because every day, every week, I'm learning something new. I'm re-strategizing. I'm expanding my skill set. I was able to hit my sales target. Exceeded actually. So
I had a flower.
Yeah.
You exceeded your sales target.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And that was my first year in tech. Never saw software. Didn't know.
And you exceeded your target.
Yeah.
Girl.
But I asked questions. So when I was like, okay, tell me the ins and outs. What do I need to do? What's important to do here? Who do I connect with? What works? What doesn't work? And I also rely on community and the people around me a lot. I believe that's what helped me to have success in the role.
So good. So one question from what you said is, like, the through the job interview, did you know someone? Because people always like to know, like, can you just get a job from LinkedIn? Did you know someone on the inside? Like, how? Like, just tell me.
No, I mean, I did know someone who worked there, but I didn't ask for a referral because I didn't know if it would carry anyways because we were in different paths. They were in development and I was going into sales. But when I did apply, I sent a message to the recruiter who posted the job on LinkedIn. So I gave a high-level overview of myself, and I said that I had applied for the job and I was interested and whether she had some time to chat. Yeah, so she replied, and like I had the over the phone interview, and then I had my actual interviews with them, and then I got the job.
That's so good. I think we can end on this. Ask questions. I feel like the highlight of this interview, this particular session, is that you should not assume that something does not exist if you've never asked questions about it. Ask questions until you get answers. And thank you, Nicole. Like, I should say thank you. Thank you for this session. I've learned so much. And we will end on our podcast session with this rapid 3 questions. So very fast, just tell me the answers to these 3 questions. What is the worst advice you've ever received?
The worst advice I've ever received is don't try and go for that thing because it's too much and it hasn't been done before. So don't bother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Best advice?
From my mom, and it's do it afraid.
I love it. Oh. Moms are the best.
Yes.
If you go back to your younger self and tell her one thing, what would you tell that?
I would say it would honestly still be to do it afraid because I had somewhat of a speech impediment in this way. Like, I used to stutter and like I wasn't really comfortable being in public settings, so I was very afraid and like I didn't really want to do anything. And my mom pushed me and she encouraged me. Like,
I can't see.
Yeah. She was like, what's the worst that might happen? Maybe people will laugh, maybe people will talk, but how does that affect you as a person? It doesn't. So yeah, don't be scared. Do it afraid. You have God. I believe in yourself, and everything will work out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This was good, Nicole. Thank you so much. I had the best time. And let's say together, do it afraid.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Mind the Gap. I hope you had a great time with us. All the resources from this episode will be linked in the show notes. And please follow us on all our social media handles. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this episode with someone who needs it. Until next time, bye!